Welcome to the Curry Gumbo Podcast with Nicole and Ashley. And today we are taking it back to Africa with our discussion on the Woman King. And this audio in the episode is a little bit choppy, so please bear with us, and I hope you enjoy the show.
Action-packed. It didn't censor the slave trade, which I appreciated, because I just think for me, I'm like at my capacity
of
with
slave
those
movies.
types of, yeah.
There's so many stories about the slave trade that I don't know why people aren't tapping into.
Yeah, I think, at least from my perspective as a movie viewer, I'm used to films about the American slave system.
Yes.
Like once we are in America, I'm
Right.
not used to seeing films. I mean, I think with the exception of Amistad that I have not seen in years, I don't, I don't even see a lot of films that reference the Middle Passage. I appreciate a film that is set like before we even get on the water.
I like that it was based in Africa. It's almost an African's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Were you aware of all of the controversy and criticisms when the movie came out?
I didn't really look into the criticism. I knew that there would be some because I think kind of like the front runners of the film, at least Viola Davis, I would say like this is an American actress. So to me, like a main criticism would be why don't we have all like West African folk and like not even like British folk? Like why just where do all West African people? You know what I'm saying? But you have an American director. I I'm assuming the writers are American, so I mean that's what can you do? Like I think that some of the same critiques could arise with Black Panther, but I also have to consider that Black Panther, I mean, Black American director, a white American writer, as far as comics are concerned. Now, issues concerning the slave trade, issues concerning is this storyline true? I don't know nothing about that. I did not do that research before like coming here. It's been a very long month, so I don't know.
No, I get it. No, a lot of the criticism was about the Dahomey tribe and their involvement in the slave trade, which is true. There were Africans who were what do you call it? Made an alliance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they made an alliance with the Europeans, and they weren't the only ones. Because one of the criticisms was like, why are we talking about this tribe? Like they're, I guess, traitors in a way. But it's like, one thing I liked about this story was it shows you how complex slavery was. I think the story I feel like we were fed was like, oh, the Europeans came and stole all these Africans and shipped them away. And it's like, it's more complex than that. Number one, Africa is not that weak to where white people can just come in and just take people and leave.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some alliances, cooperations. It's what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a part of the African diaspora history that I have not sunk my teeth into well enough to like make comments about it. But I think we've all known that there are a lot of like West African folk who were complicit in the slave trade. Now, I will say, we didn't have social media back then. We also didn't have like, the news isn't going to travel. I think that their idea of slavery was not like, I think
that's different. I know people like to always say, well, Africa had slaves first. Okay.
Their slaves were not American chattel slavery. Like that's, and I think, I think the average pedestrian probably knows that. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's complicated. Now, so are people mad that they're saying that the Dahomey people
They were saying,
were
why are we showing this movie? Because they were well, they weren't even the only people part of the slave trade. It's like if you do any a little bit of research, you realize everybody, pretty much every tribe was, in a way, because it came down to, if they did not comply, they were going to get stolen. So it's like, either you're going to take me, or I'm going to give you someone to take. It's I don't know, people. I remember there was a big discussion about that history. I think because we didn't really know that side of the story, and so I think it's something for people to wrestle with, that Black people were part of the slave trade and they helped white people get slaves or take Africans away, and that's something that's part of the story. I guess that's
in?
new news to a lot of people.
Well, that is a shame.
I will say, going back to the cast, it was diverse. We had people all over the diaspora. You had an American actress. You had a British. Is John Boyega Nigerian?
I think so.
And now she's South African. And Lashana Lynch, she has a British accent, but I don't know what her ethnic background is. I didn't even realize she had a British accent until that damn Matilda trailer dropped. And I was like, oh, she good at accents. Is this a real? What's a real accent?
Yeah, John Boyega is the son of Nigerian immigrants.
Okay. Oh, okay. It says Lashana Lynch is Jamaican, so that's still part of the diaspora. I mean, they had everybody.
And Sheila Atim is
Oh yeah, Sheila.
from Uganda.
But is she? Oh, she's British too. And so we got the diaspora covered. I can't be mad at that.
Well, I mean, if this is supposed to be set in a certain place, like this ain't set in Jamaica, like this ain't set in Uganda, it ain't set
I mean,
in
yeah.
Nigeria. It's like, so if I have not seen that criticism, but if that is a criticism, like, because I be giving it to P Valley with the bullshit, like having these people with these ridiculous accents, like, what the fuck is you talking about? Miss Mama is from Harry Potter and them. Why she in Mississippi with the
But I
fake ass
told you,
accent? Hi.
she, as part of this, to me, that's part of the storyline, because she's from nowhere.
I'm
She's
happy that
from
the storyline
she's
has
from
her
Mars.
hopping on the Amtrak and going back to
She's not Chuckalissa native.
What's the school for talented wizardry?
Oh, her school of good and evil.
No, the Harry
Oh,
Potter school.
oh, Harry Potter. I don't know. I ain't much Harry
Hogwarts.
Potter.
Go ahead back to
Hogwarts.
Hogwarts. Get your owl and your broom and your cape and go move in with the Weasleys. I don't know what you're gonna do, but y'all got to get up out of my face with this foolishness. But shout out to her. I want everybody to work, but I'm just saying I ain't got time anyway.
If people are gonna get that specific with the location of where the tribe was,
If
the
the if
Dahomey that was a very uh, particular location, present day Benin. West at like if they think saying you only got to get people that are from present day Benin, that's a reach.
I don't think so. Why? That's like saying we can only get all Jamaicans. That's crazy. There's tons of actors and actresses in Jamaica. You could get these people. People want to act. People ready to get to work. All them people in Mississippi that's looking to act. No, ma'am. It's always gonna come back to P Valley.
Did you like Viola Davis in this role?
I like Viola Davis in every role. I don't think there's a role that I dislike. Viola Davis is Queen Mother, and she deserves all of the respect in the world.
Namiska, the warrior. Who do you think you would be in the tribe? Do you think you'd be a wife or a warrior?
I think I'd be somewhere cooking up
Or
stew, ruining the stew. I wouldn't be not nan wife, not nan warrior. I would be a jester.
oh my goodness. I probably want to be a wife in the house.
Those wives were beautiful.
They were
Everybody was
gorgeous.
beautiful, but like the
Hair was
wives,
gorgeous.
especially that power
The
hungry wife,
main
she was
one, the first one,
gorgeous. Oh my gosh.
clothes amazing. They looked rich.
Rich.
Like they was just living in luxury. I was like, I mean, this don't seem half bad, honestly. It really don't.
I can I can harvest this palm oil.
Exactly.
I can do what you need me to do.
The movie focuses on the Dahomey tribe, which is a real tribe, West African tribe of all female warriors, which people said this is what the Dora Milaje was based off of for Black Panther,
Mm.
because it was an all female army that protected the king, which is what Black Panther, I guess, referenced for the Dora Milaje. And we are in the 1800s. Did they say 1870s? Can't remember. But this is slave trade era. The colonizers are trying to colonize, and they're trying to get the slaves. And so, what this movie teaches us is that the different tribes, they are already at war with each other for, I guess, territory or whatever. And so, when you add in these European colonizers, they're they're saying, "Hey, we'll give you weapons. Since you don't like these people over here, okay, we'll help you fight these people. But when you capture them, just send them to us. But we'll give you guns and all this other stuff." And so these tribes are like, okay, yeah, bet. But then, um, I mean, it gets complicated because these are still African people. But I don't think the Africans viewed it as that. I think that's another thing we have to think about. In Africa, when everybody is African, I don't think they're thinking of it as a unity. But then Namiska did bring that up. But I was thinking it's my tribe and your tribe are vastly different. We're not the same people. We don't
Mm-hmm.
speak the same language. We don't have the same customs. You're not my brother and sister. You're them.
Mm-hmm.
So I do understand them feeling like these aren't my people because they're different from us. But so we're in peak slave trade. This village has a decision to make. Are they going to be part of the slave trade? Are they going to continue being part of the slave trade or try to get rich off selling palm oil? Because they getting the money from selling these their rival villages, or yeah. And so we see this army of female warriors headed by Namiska, played by Viola Davis, protecting their kingdom and their people. And then we meet Nawi, who is a young girl who's has supposed to get married. Her father has arranged a marriage for her, and she's not having it. The man is old and violent, and she's like, "No, not today."
I mean,
And so
he
the
hits her even like he asks her a question or
yeah,
he says something to her and I guess she doesn't answer fast enough and it's just an immediate slap to
he
the
hits her.
face.
Yeah,
And so I thought that was really interesting because I think I think I'm coming off of this right after Black Panther. I know you are more into like the international films than
yeah,
I am. So like most of the films that I watch are American. So I'm Black Panther kind of romanticizes the space a
Africans.
little bit, and so this I felt like was very realistic. Like, even though
Yes.
you have this all female warrior group, you still have women being treated like shit. Like, and I think that these are some of the concerns that now we even bring to the Dahomey. Like, how come the male soldiers get to marry? They get to, why we can't
Yeah.
marry?
They're not allowed to marry or have children. Nari's potential husband says nope, he don't want her. And so the father's like, listen, I don't know what to do with you because you ain't staying in this house no more. I'm trying to send you off to be married. I'm gonna just send you to the king, have the king handle you. So he
Mhm.
takes her to the palace, throws her there, and is like, you know what? Figure it out. Figure your life out. And so
That
she ends
that
up,
felt so fast that I
yeah,
was like, I would want, like, this. It didn't feel realistic to me because I guess I didn't understand the context. Like, does this happen with all of the women who are deemed unfit for marriage? What is that? Just what happens? Like, what's going on? I guess it kind of follows the trajectory of a lot of storylines where it's like, oh, you don't know what to do after school, join the army. Like, that's a,
yeah,
you
I can see that.
that's something that you can do. But I think that storyline makes a lot of sense to me because it's
You heard
you,
it in real life.
I've heard about it in real life, and you fill out the paperwork. No one is marching up to the president and is like, hey, here you go, you know. But I know that we're dealing with a smaller group of people. But that just felt very like, is
Is
this
this
what
normal?
happens? Yeah.
I mean, her dad seemed like he was just willing to just throw her anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. But now he ends up in the palace, and the warriors, the army, so to speak, kind of takes her in,
Yeah, so
and so
they have to train in order to become a part of the warrior group. Now, did we ever learn what happens to the people who don't make it? Did we see the people who don't make it? They just released out
no,
into
like
the
the women who. Okay, so when the movie starts, the warriors they have this parade through the village. They just came back from battle, and they do have some captured. What are we gonna call them? Oh, enemies?
so they
Other
captured the people of a rival tribe.
Yeah, rival tribe.
Yeah.
Another tribe. And so they pretty much give them everyone a choice. Either y'all gonna fight or you gonna leave. What you gonna do? And that's when some of the women left.
Mhm.
Where they went, who knows? Did they go off and get married, or I don't know, be cook stew somewhere in the village for the village people? Who knows? But the movie, essentially, we're following Naui and her, I guess, trajectory towards becoming a warrior in the army, and I guess having she's very, trying to think of a good word to say.
Annoying. She
I was
annoyed
gonna
the fuck out
say
of me.
I was gonna say like sassy or
Rebellious.
rebellious. She has a very rebellious attitude, thinking she knows everything, she can do it, and she just wants to get it in or be a part of this thing. And I guess the elders are trying to tell her,
But I
like,
also I
slow
didn't
down.
understand why. That was
Why
another
what?
issue with
Why she
character
was
development.
rebellious?
No, why now we wanted to be a part of the Dahomey. I didn't see her grow up thinking, "Oh my gosh, I'm so enthralled with these women. I want to
Um,
be a part of this." That also felt like it was just very, like, it was very quick. It was a very quick thing for me, but I was just like, hmm. I didn't understand her purpose. I didn't understand like her intention. There was one character who was like, it's where I'm gonna go. I have nowhere to go.
Exactly.
So this is what it is. And that made sense to me. Nowie's purpose doesn't make sense to me, even though to a certain extent Naui has nowhere to go.
Yeah.
But when she is getting reprimanded by Naniska and she's like, no, please, I really want to do this. You do? Since when? We just met you. I wished that the film laid that out a bit more, especially since, to me, and this is because like maybe this is because like I'm always looking for a same-sex romantic storyline. Izogi, I was like, are they gonna be a thing? Is she flirting with her? Lashana Lynch's character. I was like, is that, I kind of felt something. Maybe it's because I think Lashana Lynch is beautiful and I was just like, ooh. But I was just like, what is this gonna happen? And it never happened. And so I was like, now see all that tension right there, which didn't feel like big sister, little sister to me. That could have been incorporated into motherfucking goddamn figuring out why now we want to be a part of the homie. Is it just me or did you feel some tension between them two characters?
I didn't think romantic.
I did.
But I wonder if that would have been allowed. If they're not allowed to be with men, are they allowed to be with women?
Child,
Or are
I
they
was
supposed to be
like,
nuns?
because why are you singling her out in this way? Like, is it just you felt like, oh, she gonna be that bitch. She gonna be the girl. She gonna be the most powerful warrior. So I want to be a part of training her. It just felt like you
That
taking these
fresh.
thorns off my feet. You ain't doing that with nobody else. Talking about the first rule is to listen to me. I just felt like what's going on? What's gonna happen? But didn't get it.
Nah, she fell in love with the little
So I'm
half
a
Portuguese. Now that part
Malik.
that annoyed me. The first time I saw, I was like, I know this girl. She's not gonna fall for this dude. I know this not gonna happen. Like, I do not want to see this.
She fell for ponytail. That Tia
How,
Tamara hair.
how did you feel about Malik?
I think that at that point we were just juggling a few too many characters and I just couldn't keep up. I especially after I learned that Naniska had been sexually assaulted
Yes,
by the rival
the
leader.
rival.
And
Yep.
so that was something for me to keep in mind. And then I thought that Lashana Lynch's character, she gave me lesbian vibes. I want to take Naui down. And I was trying to juggle that. I was trying to figure out where Amenza stood in all of this because, she gets into an argument with Naniska and saying like, hey, I'm not your assistant. I don't like, I answer to you, but I'm not your
Yeah.
glue girl. So I was like, you're not? What? I thought you follow orders. I thought you follow the orders of the general. What's going on? And I was also wanting so much more from as far as the tension between Naniska and the king's wife, who's very power hungry.
Oh yes.
I want it because there's some tension between his aide, who like has his ear, like who advises him, the wife, and Naniska, and then also the other male general who's kind of jealous of Naniska, like, hey, like you got his ear all the time. And she's like, I've earned this. So it was just a lot. On top of the slave trade and Malik in love with Naui, and I was just like, make it. It's so many films. What was the last film that we did? Not You People. It's like this is 8 episodes. This is not a movie. This is an 8 episode series.
I mean, everything can't be 8 episodes. I don't know how that works.
Everything can't be no. If that's very true, and if we're not gonna do it, then I need you to bring some of these storylines, bring them out,
Out.
because I didn't have enough time to recognize the love story between Nawi and Malik. And so I'm like, when they separate at the end, I'm like, I don't really feel nothing because I ain't have no time to get connected to these two people. Because Naniska just said Nawi was flirting with the dudes. So it seemed like you a little hot in the pants. And that's all right. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. It's like, are you watching The Last of Us? Is kind of scary. So I
No, I
don't think
haven't
you
seen
watch it
it.
on HBO. But one episode like really centers the love story of Bill and Frank. It's like two men who are just this love story that is happening at just the end of the world, and it's about their life, and we follow them, I mean, maybe like for 20 years, and so it's from when they met to when they pass, and you really get invested. Why? Because we've spent an entire hour on them. We spend 2 seconds on Nawi and Malik, and I ain't got it.
So I didn't view Nawi and Malik as a true love story. It got me. I was nervous at first because I'm like, okay, Malik, what side are you on now? Because you're over here with the Portuguese people, because your daddy a European, and you say, oh, my mama was the homie. Okay, and
Right.
what that mean? So to me, I was nervous. I was like, no, now we don't, because I don't trust him. I don't trust that his daddy is white. I don't care what he say. Like, he working with the Portuguese. So what side are you on, Malik?
Exactly.
But apparently he liked Nawi. I feel like he was the one that was more smitten or infatuated. Nawi, she was just trying to survive.
So you about to bring this black woman home to your white daddy?
He ain't doing that.
So what y'all was gonna do?
Would they have stayed in?
His mother was the homie, but was his mother in a consensual relationship with this European
We
man?
didn't say. They never mentioned that.
Right. So I don't like, is his mother still
But
alive?
his mom died. That's why the reason why he came is because he wanted to go back to his mother's home place because she passed. But that means his mother was taken away.
Right.
And he was from Brazil. Brazil had slaves.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm thinking his mom was a slave.
Me too. So I'm just trying to understand like how you are going to what is going to
Like,
be
what
your
you gonna do?
everyday life with Naui? What is that going to be? Because I can't see your father. Because I'm assuming your
Absolutely
father
not.
got a white wife.
Probably.
And this is like again, P Valley, old mixed boy with his brothers, and like your dad just, you know, had a mistress who was black, and you are the result of that, and you are not going to
Mm-hmm.
get the same things that your white brothers get. So
You think you're part of the family tree, but you're not.
I'm very much confused about what is happening here. So
Unless he was going to stay in Africa.
I don't see how that was going to happen. Was he related to Santo? Were they
The
like,
other white guy.
yeah,
I don't think so. I think he
okay.
was just part of. He was on their mission with them.
Plot hole.
With them being related would have made a difference.
It would have made sense to me. It would have made it. It would have been like, do this with your brother,
Oh, I
or
don't think
like
so. I
do
think
this.
because this was a business,
Hmm.
and so if this is a business and they're going over to Africa, I would assume they probably got all the little mixed kids to Africa, and that's what I thought it was. That's why I was nervous. So I'm like, oh, this is this is a scam. And he gonna say, "Oh yeah, my mama was from here," and that's how they gonna get in.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, "Oh, they
Yeah.
scamming. This is a good scam."
This is a scam.
Yes, I'm sure they had all of them mixed kids saying, "Listen, go there, get in the village, let us know what's up, and then we gonna go in and take." So that's why I was just like, no, I don't trust him. Sorry, but I can't trust him.
I don't blame you.
Well, the biggest plot line was finding out Namiska had a baby and the baby was Naui. Was that too much for you?
I was like, what is going on? Help me, Jesus. The secrets that Amenza has kept. First of all, Amenza and Naui look the same damn age. Both of y'all look about like y'all both 2 years old. So how Amenza dropped the baby off at the missionary? How? Child.
Naui definitely look young. I didn't know how old.
I just want was it past your bedtime during the night filming? Was it past your bedtime? That's all I want to know.
She
Just
is
adorable.
How old is she? She's grown.
Watch that motherfucker be like 40 and I'm gonna be like, drop the skincare routine.
She's 31.
Child. That's very young to me.
No, but I'm saying she looked, when I see her, I'm thinking, she said in the movie she was 19. I'm thinking, hell, you can be 16.
Baby, you could be 12.
I wasn't thinking
Yeah.
like this is a woman in her 30s.
Yeah, Amenza is like 31, 32 as well.
Yeah, see, Amenza doesn't surprise me. Naui surprised me. I'm like, what? You know who, speaking of you people, you know who surprised me?
Who?
Sam J.
How old Sam J? I thought she was like
40.
our age.
She hit 40.
Child, she look good.
I was shocked.
41. It say 41 over here. It say
I was
41 over
shocked.
here.
Yeah, see, and now I'm like, oh, she just had a birthday in January.
Come on, Atlanta, Georgia. I didn't know she was from Atlanta. I did not know
Is that
that.
where she was born, or she was?
It say born in Atlanta.
Yeah, I don't think she grew up in Atlanta.
No. Boston. She grew up in Boston. Okay.
She did an interview. Can't remember what interview I was watching. But I'm like, how old is she? Because she was talking about her coming up as a comedian. And I'm like, how old is this girl? Like, she seemed like she got a lot of...
You got a lot of stories. The years keep going back now. You got, what's going on? A lot of information you giving us. How long you been alive?
Child, she worked,
I'm 41 years old.
She worked at this. And I'm like... And
Sam J said, I'm 41. I am 41, Nicole. I'm grown. I could have grandkids.
That surprised me. But back to the Woman King. I like Naui. She was good.
Now we need her ass beat.
Yeah.
Okay? That's number one. Number two, I want Naui and Izogi to be together. You did?
That probably would not be allowed.
Oh, they homophobic over there?
No, I'm thinking I was under the impression that they're like nuns. Like,
girl, you know, no, they homophobic.
Probably. No, but
you do
no. But if we're going back to Africa before colonization, and all the spirituality, the queer people were supposed to be the highest spiritual beings in the village.
Well, then why wasn't Izogi with Naui?
Because I think they're supposed to be nuns, like how you're not supposed to have any relationships.
But I wanted them to be together forever.
That would throw them off their game. They can't be in love and then be fighting. That's how
You
now
saw
we got
when
in
now we
trouble.
was explaining that, and that's another reason I was like, oh, are they gonna be? When she was like, Izogi was like, no, like I can't. I don't want to be in love. You can only choose one thing. You want to be in love, or you want to be a warrior. But Izogi was clearly in love with Naui. I just want to put up a poll, see who like.
She had to hold it in.
But do
She
you
had
see
to hold it
where I'm
in.
coming from? Do you see
I
where
get
I'm
it.
coming from?
Black Panther 2 hints at that. Hints at a little Dora Milaje, you know,
Oh, I gotta see it. What Black
relationship.
Panther showing? Disney?
It's on
Disney
Disney
Plus?
Plus. You know what the funny thing? There was this I found like one of the comics like a couple years ago, like a Black Panther. I was like, oh, let's read this. Read this with Mia. And then so we're reading the comics, and then in there it's like the two Dora Milaje girls have like this love affair, and I was like, oh, I was not expecting this one.
I wasn't
Like,
expecting it.
and they're like kissing. I was like, oh, okay, this is where we going with this comic book.
Ooh.
So then they do have the conversation about whether are they going to be part of the slave trade or just be on this palm oil, and they are very conflicted. The king doesn't know what he's going to do. Did they resolve it? They just end up selling palm oil. I
Well,
didn't
what do
get
you
what
think
they
the final
decided.
scene meant? Where Amenza, Naniska, and Naui are looking
Yeah,
across
they're
the
looking at the
ships at a distance, and
castle,
I
and
just
then
kind
they
of,
have I
because
don't
I mean we
know.
know how it ends. We know, like we know what happens here. So it, um, but I think it's, you know, says like we didn't fold immediately, like this we fought, you know,
Yes,
because Kanye West said it was a choice.
I'm
That's
not
what
gonna
he
bring him up.
that's what he said.
But that is an important part of the story that since we're learning new information about the history of slavery, these they fought. They didn't just let. That's the other thing. This idea that these white people just came to Africa and just bulldozed their way in. It's like now black people, we a little bit stronger and tougher and smarter than just letting some white people come in and take over. Like there was some
Um,
fighting and some like that wasn't no easy task. Do you think this story needs like a part two?
I wish Izogi wouldn't have died because I would have loved to see a love
Ooh, oh my
story
goodness,
between
girl.
her and Naui. But yeah, I mean, I would like to. I want to know more about Amenza. I want to know more about that fucking wife who is like, I want it all. I like the way she wanted to be kind of underhanded with Naniska because the king was like, I'm gonna name you as like second in command. You're gonna be the woman king because we believe in paired powers, female power and a male power, and you're gonna be the female counterpart. And when she was named, that wife stood up and was like, "This some bullshit, bitch." Walked out, but then the Niska ran off to go find her damn daughter, and the queen is like, well, she gone, so we still gotta have the ceremony. So what's up? Who you gonna name? Now, if you could do that, wasn't a part of no strategy meeting about how we gonna fight these niggas. Wasn't a part, ain't picking up nan sword, nan musket. But you know that you want to be in power. See, this is the bullshit that I be talking about. Niggas just be wanting these titles, but don't want to be do none of the work. Bitch, all you know how to do is look good in your motherfucking braids and cowrie shells. What you need to do is sit your ass down.
I mean,
Open
you
your
could say the same for the king. He
the
wasn't getting
king
his.
is
He wasn't sweating.
strategizing with his advisors.
And wife number one wanted to be on part of the team.
No, ma'am.
She was
No,
like, she was
ma'am.
giving big wife number one energy, first wife energy. She was
She need to
like,
go sit her ass down.
all these other women come second to me.
Bitch, you come eighth to Naniska because the first person to Naniska is Naui, then the king, then Amenza, then about 15 other of the Dahomey, bitch. So she don't even consider you, nigga. Go sit your ass down. Naniska care more about them damn straw dummies that they use for practice than she cares about this fucking queen.
I was kind of surprised this was Gina Prince Bythewood. Did she say how long she's been working on this?
It's not surprising to me. Her
I think
films
they
have
were
all
working
been
on it.
action packed.
Well, Love and Basketball wasn't really action.
I think the basketball in it was action packed to me. It wasn't like violence, but it was
No.
action. It was active in that way. The action is a significant part of the film. So like the basketball is a significant part of the film.
How would you rate this movie?
I think the acting is like 10 out of 10. I
Yeah.
think the story is like 7 out of 10. I think it could have been
You know the thing with the story, it was a lot. I think because it's a lot because you have to. It's the historical element, and you kind of. I think when you're doing a historical piece, you kind of have to teach without teaching, because a lot of this story or a lot of this aspect of the slave trade isn't common knowledge. This is new information to a lot of people. And so you have to like show people, okay, this is what's going on, and then have characters and stories. And I think it might have been easier if if everybody knew West African history the way we were supposed to know West African history. Then we can just focus on the characters. But I think now with this movie, I hope we get more stories centered in Africa. Even if it's about the slave trade. I'm reading Homegoing by Jan Gyasi. And a lot of what's in the movie is in the book. It's about, I guess, what was going on in Africa during the slave trade and these two siblings who kind of like their family history kind of separated. One was a part of the slave trade, the other stayed in Africa. But a lot of the themes in this movie is in the book. Even Malik, the mixed race colonizer African son coming back to the continent, like that's part of the book too. And so I hope we get more stories so we kind of like have an understanding of like, oh, this is what happened in West Africa during this time. This is what was going on in that castle. That castle in Ghana that everybody goes to and take pictures with. This is what happened over there.
Yeah. And also just a part of the story that is centered in the film is just what happens as a result of sexual assault with these women.
Yeah,
Because
that's another big
that
part.
Naui is not the only child that this man has fathered, or that any man for that matter has fathered. So what happens to these children?
They go to that orphanage.
Exactly. And then what happens to them then? I just kind of feel like it's so much. It's so
a lot.
much
It is a
that
lot.
we need more time with it. There's a reason Kindred is a limited series. It can't be a movie. I feel like the same is the case for Beloved. I think like
maybe I should revisit Beloved. It kind of scared me when I
Beloved
was.
is scary. Every aspect of it is scary.
Who's the actress? The
There's
light skinned
Oprah.
one. No, the light skinned one that
Oh,
had the
she
baby.
Sandy Newton.
That was her. I just remember the image of her naked
Yeah.
and just like screaming. I was just like, I don't know what's going on here, but I need to get out of this because this is spooking me. But I need to revisit it.
Yeah, when it came out, I don't think that we were at an age where it was appropriate. Like, it
Oh
was
no.
not appropriate for me to watch that film when I watched it. It just was not. Because I'm like, what is going on here? Like, there's so much that I feel like even that film, it was just difficult to capture, and I think that's probably why it wasn't all that successful. But even The Color Purple, I love the film, but there's so much in the book that I'm like, where was this?
And The Color Purple is already a long movie.
It's already a long movie, but we don't get the expanded love story between Celie and Suge. You just don't
Yeah.
get it. And that's also because like this is coming out in the 80s or 90s, so you're not going to
Yep.
see that, a lesbian storyline like that. There's also like extensive work that's done with Squeak. You don't see it. There's also the redemption arc of Mr. You definitely don't see that in any of the film.
And I think it's difficult. I'm sure it's difficult trying to get these Black stories as a large motion picture.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to your point of it being a series, maybe it was an option for Woman King to be like not go to the movie theater, but to be like on Netflix or Peacock for like 8 episodes. But maybe it was Gina's vision. She was like, no, I want this to be a movie. Like
And I'm
a
sure a limited series is harder to sell,
yeah,
because I'm sure it costs more.
definitely. And then you have to I mean, there's so many people that have to sign off on this
Mm-hmm.
to even make it half of maybe what the vision was.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure it was a process.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with another film and more opinions. Leave a review and tell us what you'd like for us to watch. And let's keep the convo going on Instagram. You can find us at Curry Gumbo. Be well, happy watching, love y'all, bye.